Okay, so page 17 says, what happened to the glass blower who inhaled? Okay, so first I will give you the answer before we go over everything. It is he got a pain, P-A-N-E, in his stomach. Okay, so I will go over each of these. But first, number 1 simplifies to -4 is less than x, which is less than or equal to -1. So if I was to graph that, I have -4, -1, this is filled in, this is open, everything in between. And if you look, this is I on the graph. So number 1 equals an I. Okay? Now, let's move that down. Okay, so number 1 equals an I. Now, so number 2, that simplifies to -1 is less than x, which is less than 4. So to graph that, put -1 here, 4 here, everything in between, open dots in both directions, and that is O on the graph. So for number 2, we put in an O. Okay, those are fairly straightforward. Now, number 3 is y is less than or equal to -2, or y is greater than 3. Okay, so less than -2 or equal to goes this way. Greater than 3 goes this way. So it's a pretty classic OR. And that is C. So 3 at the bottom, we put in a C. So those 3 start out as fairly obvious, as is number 4. Number 4 simplifies to t is less than -4, or t is greater than or equal to 2. Okay, so this is another classic OR. Greater than or equal to 2, open, less than -4. And number 4 is E. So 4 is E. Okay, so I think the first 4 were fairly straightforward. Now we get into some that are a little trickier. Number 5. If I simplify the first inequality, I get n is greater than -2. And if I simplify the second, I get n is greater than 1. Okay? Now, these are both headed in the same direction. So, on the graph, here's -2, here's 1. Now, n is greater than -2. And n is greater than 1. Remember, and means overlap. This is where they overlap. And means you have to fulfill both. And means that if we take like the number 2, which is in the solution set, is greater than -2, but it's also greater than 1. Let's take 0, which is not in the overlap. 0 is greater than -2, but it's not greater than 1. So that's why it's not part of the solution. So the actual solution is n is greater than 1. And that graph is n. So 5 is n. Okay. Now, number 6. We have u is less than 2 and u is less than or equal to I can't read my writing on that. 1. Okay. So, in this case, and, again, it's where it overlaps. Here is 1, here is 2. If something is less than 2, there it is. If something is less than or equal to 1, it goes this way. This is where it overlaps. It overlaps at u is less than or equal to 1. So the answer is u is less than or equal to 1, and the graph just looks like this, and that graph is G. So 6 is G. Okay. Now, number 7, it simplifies to x is greater than or equal to 4, or x is greater than negative 2. So now this is an or, so we're not looking for the overlap, we're looking for the intersection. So negative 2, 4. We are looking for the answer that includes the most, because or is inclusive. Well, the most inclusive one would be x is greater than negative 2, because anything greater than negative 2 is automatically greater than 4. We're not looking for the overlap, we're looking for the most inclusive. X is greater than negative 2 is the most inclusive, and that's M. So 7 is M. Okay, number 8 simplifies to k is greater than negative 3, or k is less than 0. Again, it's an or, so we're looking for the most inclusive. Now, if something is greater than negative 3, it goes this way. If something is less than 0, it goes this way. So the entire number line is colored in, and that means the answer is all real numbers. So number 8 is H, because that's filled in completely, and that's all real numbers. Okay, number 9 simplifies to W is in between negative 3 and 2, including negative 3, not including 2, and number 9 is T. That's a pretty straightforward one. Okay, number 10. Number 10 simplifies to y is greater than or equal to 4, or y is less than or equal to negative 2. So here, it has to be greater than or equal to 4 while, wait, is this an or an and? I'm sorry, this is an and. Number 10 is and. While at the same time being less than or equal to negative 2. Well, that's impossible. There is no number that at the same time being greater than 4 is less than 2. So this is no solution, and it's an empty number line. And number 10 is S, because S says no solution. Okay, number 11 simplifies to x is less than negative 3, or x is greater than negative 3. So basically, it's saying x can be anything except negative 3. So we would color in the entire number line except for negative 3. And that is P. So 11 is P. Okay, now it's an or, so we include everything. And the last one is also an or, but it's an overlap case. It simplifies to x is less than or equal to negative 4, or x is less than or equal to 0. So again, I pick the one that includes the biggest solution set, and that's going to be this one, because anything less than 4 is automatically less than 0. This includes the most solutions, and or includes the most solutions. So that is A. So 12 is A. So the answer is he got a pain in his stomach. Ha 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 ha. Okay? So this is a very good practice.